and welcome to another video. Today we're back with the sketch that I decided that I was going to work on. The one I worked on last week, it was like a sketch of some of my OCs dressed up in like little costumes for like a maid sort of cafe type thing. It was originally Hope and Kira, and in the middle it was supposed to be Emerson, but I decided I didn't like it when it was Emerson, so instead it's Duke, and I feel like it fits a lot more now. So yeah, sorry if you didn't see that sketch from last week, but this is a continuation of that one. And I like it a lot better than I did the one from last week. And so just going into a little bit of the process here. This is a little bit of a longer video, so I'm going to talk about a little bit of the process and a little bit about a sort of AU I actually came up with after I finished doing this little doodle, just because I love an AU, you guys. If you don't have your OCs in an AU, you gotta start putting them in AUs. It's so much fun. It's a really good way to like sort of explore some of the other details or aspects of your character, maybe in a way that you wouldn't have thought of. And so I always recommend putting your OC into an AU. It's a lot of fun. So starting off just with the coloring, I kept the coloring pretty simple. We're starting off with Hope here, and I already know what colors I'm going to use for Hope because I did this drawing of Hope originally like last year or so, or 2 years ago at this point, and I put the colors that I wanted him to have in that one. So thankfully I have a reference for whenever I want to color Hope in and what I want a skin tone to look like. So his was actually really simple. And I don't really deviate from it just because, like I said, I already know what I want it to look like, and I really liked it in the last one that I did it with, and I really liked the way that it came out this time. And so I am using Copic markers once again. I'm always using my Copic markers. Sometimes I might add in a different marker just to shake things up, but majority of these are my Copic markers. I'm not sure if you guys would be interested in the colors specifically that I use. You can let me know. I can tell you what they are, but I don't know if anybody's interested. Like if you like see a color and you're like, oh, what Copic marker is that? I can start putting them maybe in the description. Just let me know. Yeah. So yeah, just coloring in his skin. Originally, what I want to do is I put down a base tone first. Well, not a base tone. Well, usually I do a base tone. Sorry, I'm like all wishy-washy today, but usually I do put down a base tone. But for Hope, the way that I do his skin in particular is that I lay down this pink color. It's R85, I believe, because I want him to have sort of a warmer skin tone. When it comes to like darker colors for Copic, I feel like a lot of their brown tones are like very desaturated, and I don't like that. And the way that I like to add in the saturation or like the warmth back into those skin tones is I use this R85 as like a way to put in like the warm tones into the shadow color. You could use it as the base tone and just go over the whole thing with your base tone instead. But I feel like that's a little bit too warm, and so I just like to put the warmth in the shadows mostly. And I do that with all the skin tones that I do for this drawing. I put all of them have this sort of warmer color as the shadow color, and then I overlay that with the base tone of the color just because I wanted to add the warmth back into their skin tones, just the way that I do skin tones nowadays. And I don't really like when skin tones are like super desaturated. It feels like not super realistic. Like I know that there are different undertones for different people. Like some people have like a greenish undertone, some people are more yellow. I personally just prefer like a reddish undertone for my characters just because that's just something I gravitate towards, like my stylistically. Like people have like different stylistic sort of interpretations of the world and like different sort of things that they like to stylize with their specific art style, and my thing is I like warm skin tones. So generally when I'm gonna put like a base tone or like a shadow color, I'm trying to put some warmth in there with like a warmer color. You won't really see me using blue. I've tried to use blue as like an undertone color, and every time I do it I feel like it looks muddy and ugly, and so I feel like I'm able to pull off the warm ones better than the cool ones personally, which is why I typically go for a warm undertone. After I put down that R85 color, I go over with the E23, which is his base skin tone color, and I fill in all of that. Unfortunately, I was running out of ink for this one, and I was like, fuck, and I do not have a refill for this one, so I really had to go like fast and kind of sort of sparingly with it. Like I had to like really like go slow and go steady, or else I was gonna run out of ink. And I was like, fuck, I should have done his body first. I really should have done his face first. If you guys you have a marker and you're like, it's running out of ink, do what you feel is the most important part of the piece. I do a lot of character art, and when I say a lot, I mean only do character art, and so I feel like the most important thing for me in my character art is the face, but I never start off with the face. I don't know why. honestly, I should, because if I fuck up the face, I always feel like I just need to scrap the whole thing. And I don't know if it's that I'm scared of fucking it up and starting over, because I did put a lot of work into this. This coloring did take me about an hour and a half, just because it is 3 characters. If it was just one person, it would have took me so long, but it was 3 characters. So it took me a little bit longer, and so I knew if I fucked up the face, I was gonna be like, I had to scrap the whole thing, like the whole page. Because if just his face would have been fucked up, and I would have had to cover it with a sticky note, that would have bugged me so fucking much, you guys. And so, yeah, I couldn't do it. But, yeah. So, I was talking about his skin tone. And then after I went in with his base tone, I actually went in with the darkest color for shadows. My process, honestly, for markers is really so all over the place. I don't know why, because sometimes I'm like, okay, I put the base tone, and then I'll put down the darker shadow color, and then I go over with the mid tone to blend it out. And then sometimes I'm like, I'll put in the shadows, and then I'll go over base tone, and then I'll go over with the mid tone. I'm always all over the place with my marker process, and I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to do that sort of thing. I actually would say it doesn't really fucking matter. It's your art process, and I'm just like, I beat myself up for things that I would never beat up anybody else about, and so I'm all over the place, but that's okay. And so after I did the skin tone, I actually did his hair. His hair is very simple, just 2 colors. Like I said, I did want to keep the coloring for this relatively simple, because it did, even this simple coloring took me a long time. Honestly, it would have been shorter if I just did flat colors, but I love coloring skin. Skin is my favorite thing to color, and so you'll never catch me really doing a flat skin tone, just because I enjoy coloring skin so much. It's just like, if I'm coloring a character and I'm adding the colors and I don't get to add like the cute shading to the character, like, what's the point? In my opinion, anyway. It's like the most fun of the process, and I only do art for the fun of it. I don't do it for like the end result. I do for the fun of like the process. I mean, I enjoy the end result of my art. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I don't really like this, but really I mostly enjoy the process. And so, yeah, I could have got this done faster if I just did all flat tones, but it's a lot more fun if I get to color the skin. Yeah, and so after I color his hair, I actually move on to doing the next character, which is Duke. And just because I knew that I wanted his clothes to be black, all of their clothes are going to be black, so I just like, I'm going to save coloring all of the clothes at the end. Like, I could have done like the whole character and then moved on to the next character and then the whole character. I don't know which way would have been faster, but I was like, I don't want to keep uncapping and then recapping the black when I know I'm going to have to use it later anyway. So I was like, I'll just do all the skin tones, because all the skin tones are different, and then I will do all of the black at the end, because they're all going to be wearing black, and literally all of them are wearing black and white, because that is like sort of kind of the motif for like the cafe that they're going to work at. I have come up with lore for their cafe. I don't know why. Like I said, I did come up with a little bit of an AU for these guys, and I might draw something later in the week that is related to this AU, just because originally I was just like, this would be just like a cute thing to like put them in like little cafe outfits. So the character we're working on right now is Hope, and Hope is supposed to be like a bunny cafe worker, basically. And then in the middle we have Duke, and he's supposed to be like a maid cafe worker. And at the end is Kira, and she's supposed to be like a butler cafe, but like the opposite, right? It's like they flip the genders, so it's like a cross-dressing butler cafe, and like with Duke, it's a cross-dressing sort of maid cafe. For dudes, and so I was like, that's fun. And I thought it was just gonna be like a fun little outfit thing, but then I was like, well, what if they were all at the maid cafe together? And I was like, well, it wouldn't be a maid cafe, because it's got maids, butlers, and bunny guys. That doesn't make sense. And so I was like, well, what if they worked at like a cafe and it was called Any and Everything? And I was like, Any and Everything? And to myself, because I talk to myself like I'm a different person, unfortunately, because I'm crazy, but just kidding. But I was like, yeah, Any and Everything, because it would have any and every sort of cafe that you like, which would explain why the cafe has workers who are dressed in like different outfits, like different themes. I was like, that's kind of cool, but why would they be working in a cafe? It's like, well, because it's an AU where they're like normal people and they just work in a cafe, and Duke is paying his way through college, and Kira's like the manager of the cafe, and Duke is just one of the other employees. And I'm like, why would they be working in a cafe together, even if it was an AU? And also, Hope still has his demon ears, and it's like, I was thinking, well, maybe he just has his ears like that just because he just looks like that. I was like, if this was really going to be like a human AU where they're just working at a cafe for fun, he should have human ears. But I didn't think of that until after I finished the drawing, and I was like, well, what if his ears just look like that? And so that's kind of a little bit of the lore behind the AU. And so now I want to draw a comic with them doing this AU, and I'm like, I don't have time to draw a comic about that. I mean, I have nothing but time, but I was like, I haven't even written the story for any of these characters. I'm trying to work on the one for Kira right now, and you're like, come up with a comic where you could put all your characters together into like a maid cafe. It doesn't make any sense. And it's true, it doesn't really make any sense, but it would be a lot of fun, and I am going to start drawing little mini comics about them just for fun. And then I feel like if I ever did publish Kira's comic, I could publish this one like as a little side story, and then every time you see one of the characters from one of my mini stories pop up, you'd be like, hey, they're at the Maid Cafe, or they're at that whatever cafe. I guess it's anything and everything cafe or whatever. I just think it would be a lot of fun. Thinking a little bit about the way Duke's coloring went, it was pretty easy. Duke is just a white boy, and so I don't really ever have anything trouble coloring white skin just because I've done it so much. I just feel like the skin tone markers for Copic, the lighter colors are a little bit more vibrant, and so the skin comes out a lot warmer in a way that I like. And so I just used R20 for his sort of shadow pinkish color, and then I just used E000 and E00 for some of the shadows over that pink sort of color. Well, E000 was his base tone, and then E00 was the shadow color. And I feel like the shadow color was not very dark enough, so mostly the shadows are in that pink color, but that's okay. I think it still makes the skin look very vibrant and very nice. And I colored his hair in red, just because his hair is red now. I know every time I draw Duke and I color his hair in red, I'm always like, his hair is not even supposed to be red in the story. His hair is blonde, yada 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 yada. But his hair is red. His hair is red now, and I feel like the red is a lot more striking than the blonde would be. I feel like a blonde guy with his hair slicked back is like kind of normal, but you don't really see a lot of guys who have like bright red hair. You do like anime and stuff, but like I'm not making an anime. This is a Western, technically, comic idea, and not technically, it is because I'm a Western person. I'm from the United States, so it's Western. So yeah, I just like his red hair. I like it a lot, and I'm just gonna stop fighting it. I don't know why I tried so long to make his hair blonde. It's never been blonde. I mean, it's been blonde in writing, but my writing is bullshit anyway, so it changes all the time. Anyway, going over to Kira's skin tone, I also went ahead and put a sort of, Kira's is not really quite a reddish color or pinkish color either. It's more of a little bit of an orangey color as an undertone. I don't hate the way it came out, but it's not my favorite. I like it, but I feel like she needs a different base tone. I was actually going to use a different color for like the shadow color that I was initially going to put down. It was going to be EO4, but I was like, EO4 is much too desaturated, and I don't want it to be there. The other two are saturated and like very warm, and she's going to be the only one who's desaturated and dull. I just make her stand out really, really badly, and so I didn't want to do that. So in like the cohesion of the piece, I feel like she looks very cohesive with the others, but in like sort of terms of like the way that I want her skin to look, it's not all the way there yet. I feel like if I just change that one color, I'll like it a lot more. I still actually do like the way it came out. I feel like the last time I drew her, when it's like actual colors, was a long time ago, and by a long time ago, like 3 or 4 months ago at this point, since I started my channel. But yeah, I didn't really like the way that coloring came out. I like this one a lot more, and so I might just keep these colors on tap, so that way whenever I want to color her again, I can use these colors like I did with Hope that one time. But yeah, I don't like it that much, but I do like it a lot more than the last time I did it, so it steps in the right direction. And then, yeah, I like her a lot. I feel like I don't know if she looks like a guy, because that's the whole point of her, like, butler outfit is to make her look like she's, like, a man. I think she turned out very cute. I like the way that she looks. I think she's probably my favorite on this page. I mean, I like Hope and Duke a lot, but I just think she looks the cutest. I don't know what to tell you. I really like the way that I did her hair. I mean, I'm not sure if it's that color, but it's very vibrant, I think. It's just nice in a way that I like. I like the way I did the highlights. I don't know. I just think she's the cutest. I don't know. I think she's very cute. She's very cute here. I just think that her legs are a little bit too long, and I didn't really put a lot of detail into her pants. And, she's actually the only one who's not showing off her legs. And so maybe that's why I'm like, maybe I should have put her in some shorts. Oh, now I'm thinking about it. Her in some shorts, like the butler shorts. Well, that could be cute. But also, no. She's probably got to be in the pants. For, like, butlers don't wear shorts unless they're, like, a weird sort of, like, I don't want to say the word fetish, but I already did. Sort of butler look. Yeah, the pants are probably the way to go. It's just like, I don't know how to draw pants. Honestly and truly, I'm terrible at drawing legs. You guys know that. But I feel like I'm a little bit better at drawing legs than I am at drawing pants. I'm okay at drawing pants that are a little bit more baggy. But not really like straight leg slacks. And these are supposed to be straight leg slacks. And I don't like the way that they turned out, but that's okay. Overall, I like the piece a lot. I think it's very cute. And yeah, I like it a lot. And I just can't wait to do some little AU drawings of these guys because I think it's a very cute idea. And I can think of dynamics for how they would interact with each other just because I don't think that they would ever really be friends outside of like the work environment. Just because Hope is a very closed off person and Kira is also a very closed off person. And Duke is like he's like a confident sort of extrovert, but he doesn't let people get like actually emotionally close to him, so they're all three of them are very closed off people. Maybe that would be like fun, and that they all have that sort of kinship and they could like be closed off together and actually like, you know, be nice friendly coworkers who actually, you know, become friends eventually. That could be cute. I don't know why I'm coming up with lore and story ideas for this because it's just going to be an AU. Like honestly, these characters would never ever meet. I mean, they're not like super different in age. Like Kira's 28 and what's it called, Hope is 25 and Duke is supposed to be like 22 because he's about to graduate college, so they're not like super different in age, but I don't know, they just seem like so wildly different in my mind. I'm like, they would never like exist in the same universe. It's just because they're all in like different genres, like because Hope is supposed to be in like a supernatural sort of slice of life comedy sort of thing, and Hope is a supernatural slice of life comedy thing, and then Duke is like a rom-com sort of contemporary story, and then Kira is in like a crime drama / mobster story, and so it's like none of those go together at all. But I'm like, I don't know, I feel like it'd really be cute if they could interact with each other. And also, you know, the thing about that is I'm the author, so I can do whatever I want. If I wanted to put them all in the same story, I could. And if I want that, put them in an AU, I can. I don't know why I always give myself such strict rules. I think that I just have like a very binary like type of way of thinking. It's like, well, it doesn't make sense, so you can't do that. It's like, it doesn't have to make sense. It's for fun. And I just have to, I don't ever want to like poke at other people if they're having fun with stuff, but whenever I'm trying to have fun, I'm like, idiot, that doesn't make sense. It's like, it doesn't have to make sense, friend. You can do whatever you want. And so I'm just gonna have to try to get my mindset back into the sort of idea of I can do whatever I want. I think that life spends a lot of time telling you that there are rules to things, and it kind of takes a lot of hard work to like break that sort of mindset where actually, especially when it comes to art, there are no rules. You can do whatever you want, literally whatever you want, and it doesn't matter. Like, nobody gives a shit. I kind of just have to stop putting sort of rules onto myself that other people are not putting onto me. And even if other people try to put rules on me, I have to be like, it doesn't matter, I can do whatever I want. Because if somebody else was like, hey, you can't do that, I'd be like, hey, fuck you, guy, I do whatever I want. And so I don't know, when it's myself, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do it because you said so. It's like this. No, like, just think of yourself a little bit. I should think of the voice in my head as like a separate person, and then I'd be like a lot more defiant because I don't like being told what to do. Anyway, when it comes to the clothes, I did not put a lot of color. I mean, I did put a lot of color. Well, no, it's not color because it's black, but I didn't put a lot of, what's it called, shading in there, just because I was like, I don't really give a shit about the clothes. This is just, when it came to the clothes, it was just a sketchbook spread. The clothes don't really matter, but it was the skin. It's like, I have to do good detailed skin. But that's just, again, because I like to color in the skin. I just have to come up with a way of coloring clothes so where I actually enjoy it. Because now when I do the clothes, I'm like, I just gotta get the clothes out of the way. I'm not like enjoying doing the clothes process. I'm like, I have to finish it so that way the picture can be finished. And when it's like the hair and the eyes and like the skin, I can find things that I enjoy with all of those. But for clothes, I'm not really into it in that sort of way. I guess it could be because it's just black and white for this one, but that's not really it. When it comes to any sort of clothes, I really don't like to color them at all, and I really don't like putting thought into them really at all, because I don't know, I guess because I'm not a very fashion savvy person. Maybe if I just think I need to get into it. I keep putting it off, and I'm like, I'll learn clothes eventually, but I feel like clothes are like super important, obviously, because it like influences the way that your character looks and shit. And I feel like clothes is like half of like the cool character design stuff. Like, there's so many manga artists, and they have like their characters are like so cool in their cool outfits, and then like when they change clothes every arc, and you're like, wow, like a cool new outfit. And then people, especially like with One Piece or like Bleach, people love those outfits. It's like, yeah, the outfits are super cool. And then you get to like Naruto, and they never really change their outfits, so nobody ever talks about the fashion in Naruto. Like, the character designs in Naruto are good, but like, it's like nobody really talks about like the fashion. And not that I really want people to talk about my sort of fashion when it comes to art. It's like I said, I don't really give a shit about that, but I feel like it's important, especially if I'm going to be drawing like a comic about my OC's Kira and Nick. I feel like Nick would probably be into fashion just because he's like a rich guy with nothing to do. It makes it sound bad, like people who are into fashion are only rich, but I know there are people who are not rich who are into fashion. I don't know, I just don't get it. So if you guys are like fashion people and you can like explain it to me, I think that would be very helpful because I don't understand like that point. I mean, I like cool outfits. I mean, not like the high couture stuff. I'm like it's like an art exhibit type thing and like a form of expression, but I don't really get it. I think it's because I'm dumb, but I don't know. I would love to have it explained to me. I love to learn. So yeah, I don't really care about coloring the clothes, and I kind of keep it as simple as possible. Like for Kira, it's just all black. I had one color for shadows and then one color for the base color, and I didn't really do anything else other than that. And on the whites, it was the same thing. I had one color for shadows, and then I had a blending color because there was no base color to put because their outfits are white, pretty much. And also, there wasn't really too much outfit to color. I mean, on Kira, she had a lot of clothes on, but for Hope, he just has his bunny suit, and you can't even see the bottom of the bunny suit, just because I was actually going to add, what's it called, pantyhose? Not pantyhose, fishnets at the end, and then I forgot, and so I'm going to have to do that off camera. And then for Duke, I was going to give him pantyhose and color his legs in black, but I was like, but the skin tone looks so nice on his legs, so I didn't do that. And also, I don't want to color them. Like I said, I didn't want to lose the detail of his legs. I just feel like his legs look nice and warm, which is a weird thing to say, but I felt like they look really nice, and so I didn't want to cover them up. And I kind of feel the same way about Duke, so I'm not sure if I'm going to add the fishnets, but honestly, I don't know if he can be walking around with all those legs out where people are eating food, so I feel like maybe he needs to put like some fishnets on or something, but maybe the fishnets would be too provocative. I don't know. I mean, he's already in a bunny suit, and it's a very high cut bunny suit. Like, you can't even see the edge of the bottom. Like, it's like it goes like up over his hip. So it's like he should probably put on some freaking fishnets, cover that up. Anyway, after I finished up doing like their clothes, I just went ahead and did their eyes. I didn't really want to put too much detail into the eyes. Honestly, I couldn't, even if I wanted to, because they're so fucking small. Just because, you know, these are full bodies, and my sketchbook is not that big. It's a 10 by 10, which I guess is kind of big. 10 by 10 is kind of big, but not when you do like a full body. Not when you draw a full body. It's actually pretty small. And so their eyes are really tiny, and so I just put in one color. And so for Kira, I made her eyes green. I don't know if Kira's eyes are green. I think the last time I drew Kira's eyes, they were brown. But the green eye look is kind of cool. I don't know, I always change the eye color for my characters whenever I color them in. I know what color I want them to be. Like, Hope's eyes are actually yellow, or like a goldish yellow. For a while they were orange because his color is orange, but then I changed them to a yellow for story reasons. So yeah, his eyes are supposed to be like yellow, and I did not color them yellow. I don't know why, because his earrings are yellow, and I just made his eyes brown for some fucking reason. I guess because if this was a human AU, except for his weird little pointy ass ears, his eyes would be brown. Like I said, they're yellow for story reasons. So yeah, and then I made Duke's eyes the same brown as Hope's, except I put the red down first, and then I made them brown, so they're like brown with a reddish undertone, just to go with his hair. And I don't know if his eyes would actually be that color. I think my default is always to make a character's eyes brown, not only because my eyes are brown, but also because I'm like, well, most people have brown eyes. If you're like, all your characters have like fantastical color eyes, I feel like it's like super unrealistic. Not to say that people don't exist, obviously, with different colored eyes. They do, but I feel like, like one in like every however many people. Like, I know like 2 people, 3 people out of like everyone that I know who has colored eyes, just thinking off of the top of my head. And one of them is a baby. So yeah, I don't feel like it's realistic to have a bunch of different eye colors that are different. I'm always thinking of brown. Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you didn't mind my longer gap session. I actually want to get back to making the videos longer. I know for a long time, at least for like a couple months at this point, I've been making the videos only like between 10 to 15 minutes, and even sometimes 5 minutes or shorter. And that wasn't really the goal when I started this YouTube channel. My goal was to make the videos like between 20 and 40 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get back to the 40-minute mark, honestly, because talking for 40 minutes is a fucking hassle and a half. But I'm gonna try and get them back to 20 minutes at least, just because I didn't want these videos to be something that you could at least have a little bit of a drawing session with. Like, I think it's hard to like get a good drawing session done in 10 minutes. I mean, it's not impossible, but I just feel like a 20-minute video might be a little bit better for like if you're doing like like a little bit of sketchbook work, or if you're writing, or if you got some work to get done. I feel like 20 minutes is a little bit better, so that way you can listen for a little bit of a longer period. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I will go ahead and see you in the next one. Bye.